town selectmen and other people in the community saying, we don't think you have enough of this in, or we're worried about that, we support these things. So we actually added some things back in. And then, again, we got insurance costs, that came out, so we started out with about a, $2 per month increase, and then by the time everything settled out, it ended up being about less than $1, I think, per house, per $100,000 house. So it changes, and we will share all of that information when we're at a decision making point, like, what do you want to see in, and if you do, what does that mean? So it probably would be end of March, after we maybe get 3 or 4 more, the rest of the presentations in. Okay. So this committee's last update on budget development, proposed, 26th of March is when we kind of propose the draft of the final budget. And again, then we go into the process of getting feedback from the communities before we make a final. And of course, this is an advisory committee to the board, so you would advise to the board, but they may not feel like they can support the increase, or they may say, we really need to have this other item in there, and their final budget would be what goes forward. Any other questions? So our next meeting is next Thursday, the March 5th, and at that meeting you'll hear transportation, facilities, central office, and CIP. So that's a lot. Those meetings typically took around 2 hours last year, so we're starting at 6 o'clock, and they usually will go to around 8.
Is that back at the high school?
Yeah, we're at the library at the high school. It's a lot easier instead of having to bring the equipment down here, but with school in session today, that wasn't an option for us. And then, again, if you have any feedback on process that you want to share with us, we'd be open to hearing that. But this seemed a lot better as far as the continuity of the information being shared. I don't know how, Colleen, you participated in the past. What did you think about getting it all?
It's good. It's a long day, but it is a pretty efficient way to do it, I have to say. So.
Not nearly as much repeating of
right,
information.
Exactly. And it meant that we could go, as you went along, you could go through things more quickly.
And it also was obvious that you spent a lot of time getting ready, having the format on each of those
Absolutely.
presentations
was
aligned
huge.
was
Yep.
really helpful.
Right.
Yeah, and I do think having the technology earlier in the process, because everyone's referring to it and questions are coming up and saying, wait, Linda's going to talk about that, so rather than waiting, I think you often end up kind of being one of the last presenters, and so kind of hearing a little more integrated.
And that's why we said what our thinking was, these are the instructional programs. These are our schools, our special ed, and our technology. They're all student oriented. Not that transportation is not, but it's definitely not the learning piece for our students and our schools. And so central office and transportation and facilities will come next. And again, we were feeling the same way. We really wanted you to see that in a cluster, because it's it does overlap, and there are themes across the schools and the departments because of our strategic plan. We're all building off from that vision and that where we're going as a district.
So what does that leave for the 312 meeting then? Haven't we gone through all the? I don't have that schedule in front of me, so I'm just curious.
So facilities review committee recommendations. We want to talk about the overcrowding at the middle school and how we're going to handle that.
Oh, that's a couple of the other bigger.
And then any revisions from the school or the educational budgets that you see that are coming forward, that would be included in there as well.
Okay, thanks.
And if we don't get all 4 of them done, we could drop SIPs, the CIP account down, or the central office down. So we really appreciate you coming today. We know that some of you took a vacation day to be here. Jen, I know she did. Some of you, Tina, you did. Colleen did. That's a huge.
At my age, I should be taking it.
Yeah. That's a huge commitment, and we can't tell you how much that means. It's we really thought it would be a more efficient process, and it shows us what committed people we have on the committee. So I want to thank you for that. Okay.
Well, we're done early.
Yes, thank you.